everyone, I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your daily forecast for the day of Tuesday, October 24th, 2017. Now, what's going on today is that we have got the moon right here, at least at the beginning of the morning, still here in Sagittarius around, what, 21, 22 degrees, making a trine over here to the North Node, okay? So we're still thinking in Sagittarius about our beliefs in some way, trying to make sense of our life, figure out what is going on with us after perhaps we have been making a lot of changes in our life or are thinking about making a lot of changes in our life, and after some really deep, intense feelings have been coming up. I think the past 2 days while the moon has been in Sagittarius, we've been trying to figure out, yeah, what does it all mean, and what do we do with all of this stuff, and what do we need to perhaps do differently or try or think about doing, okay, in order to get some of our life in order. And I think as to where yesterday morning it could have been a little frustrating and confusing here, even though maybe we were getting some insights with the moon in a square to Neptune. But I think by the nighttime, okay, when the trine to the North Node came in here, we were starting to feel like, okay, you know, maybe the morning was a little bit hard and uncomfortable and some things come up, but now I'm starting to understand better where it is I need to go in life and what it is that I need to do in order to find the joy and the happiness and the pleasure once again and be more myself in some way with the North Node here in Leo, all right? And Leo is very independent in some way, but also very happy and outgoing. And so I think we're just trying to figure out what it is that we need to do to move forward on some things that are very, very important to us and that bring us a lot of joy. And I think at the end of the day and into this morning, we were starting to feel that, okay? I think after we're feeling that, you know, like our life is starting to go in the right direction, what we really need to do here is we need to commit to whatever insights we received the past few days, whatever new or different thing it is we were doing, or even whatever small perspective change that came to us as well. Because after this trine comes in, the moon is going to come on top of Saturn right over here, okay? And Saturn can be a very restricting and a very confining force in some way, really requiring you to commit to something and to dedicate yourself to something. And if you do not want to do the work or do not want to make the commitment, okay, to do something new and to make sense of some things, I think it's going to be really hard for you. So I think the message here is to take whatever insights it is that came to you and whatever beliefs or, you know, ways of thinking about things that you've worked out, and make sure that you hold tight to these things, that you don't let them go, that you don't let them fall by the wayside just because things get hard, okay, and that you really commit to doing something new, okay, that's more in line with your belief system and what it is you're trying to create, okay? So I think that's a big thing that's going to come in here. That's actually going to happen at 4 a.m. in the morning. So while we're sleeping, especially if you're in mountain time, you're going to be working a lot of stuff out inside, really trying to commit to something, okay? I think committing to this thing could be a little bit uncomfortable for you, okay, and a little bit hurtful with the moon after it is on top of Saturn, making a square over here to Chiron, which Saturn's going to come into the square with Chiron very soon, saying, sure, you want to commit to something, okay, that you believe, something new that you're doing, some kind of journey that you need to go on here, feeling like this journey can put you in a better spot, help you in life, but still being uncomfortable going on the journey, doing this new thing, committing to this new belief system, all right, that it is that we've come up with or trying to wrap our minds around in some way, all right? So I think that's going on there, but needing to not get hurt or not let yourself get lost in your hurts and your fears, okay? Chiron is kind of like a little baby over here. It's like you can beat Chiron, like just don't let it get the best of you whenever you see Chiron coming over here, and just push through it. And if you can push through it here, of course, you're going to be making a good commitment to do something that is good for you here, and then the moon's going to trine Uranus and Aries and really also help you too to find the freedom in your life to be more independent, okay, to feel more free and to get more of those insights that it is that perhaps you were looking for, okay? And I don't think these insights are gonna be like huge, like I'm free moments, you know, not when Saturn is hanging around, but I think it's gonna be one of those things where you slowly start to realize, okay, you know what, like if I keep going on this journey, even if it's uncomfortable, maybe it'll help me here and maybe it'll help me do that, and really having to put in the work and the discipline, okay, to really make something happen. So I think that's a lot of what is going on, all right? And that trine to Uranus is going to happen here around, what, 10 a.m. All right, now after that happens, the moon is going to enter into Capricorn actually a little bit later at night. So at 7 p.m. it's going to come over here into Capricorn. And after we've been sitting with some of these beliefs and some things that we're trying to do to make sense of our life and put it in a better spot, even if it's feeling uncomfortable, but still trying to commit to it so that I can allow us to get insights and move forward on some things that are very important to us, I think then we start to figure out, or trying to figure out, how can we build on this thing, you know, after all of this stuff came up. How can we start to put a plan in place to move forward with it, to create the life that it is that we want, okay? Since Capricorn rules your career, it rules your social standing, it rules the things that you build on to give you the position and the direction in life that it is that you want, okay? And so I think that's what we start trying to think over here when we're in Capricorn. What is it that we can and need to do in order to sustain these beliefs, in order to move and to act on these beliefs as well, with the moon starting to form a first quarter moon, not today, I think, but tomorrow here, also calling us to act with all of the things that have come up in the past few days, all right? So I think that's what we're trying to figure out towards the nighttime when the moon moves into Capricorn, is now how can we start to do things and build on these things that have come up, all of these feelings that we've had and all of these ways that we're trying to figure out how to work with our feelings, okay? And that's what it's going to do for the next 2 days at least while it's in Capricorn, all right? And then when it's in Capricorn, what's going to happen, the moon here is going to make a sextile over to the sun, all right, and a square over to Mars, all right? So I think if you can commit to building something, it's really going to help you to overcome some of these hard feelings that it is that you had last week, some deep, intense stuff that we're feeling, you know, from below the surface coming up here. And I think if you can make sense of everything and you can commit to this new way of thinking in a lot of ways, or this new thing that you've been doing to help you overcome some things, and if you start to build and to act on it in the coming days, I think it's really going to help you here to overcome some of these hard feelings, to make sense of some of these hard feelings, to heal them, okay, and to move forward on them. Could be a little difficult here when it comes to relationships where Mars is in Libra, and when it comes to moving forward on relationships here and making things happen with other people, all right? That could be a little bit uncomfortable, maybe not quite sure how to move forward doing this thing that you want to do and that came to you, and getting other people on board or understanding what it is that you're doing, but really needing to try to get other people with you as you do this new thing, okay? To help them understand where it is that you're going and to keep moving forward and building on this thing that it is you need to build on, okay? Whether or not they like it, other people like it, but hopefully trying to convince them and help them understand why it is that you're doing what you're doing, okay? So I think that's an important thing there. And I think once all that comes up, if you can keep moving forward here, more doors are going to open with the sextile to Jupiter, of course the sextile eventually to Mercury as well, that the moon is going to make, again really helping you to heal more of your internal stuff, all right? Relationships still going to give you a little bit of a hard time with the square to Venus coming in too in the next day or so, but again I think if you can just keep moving forward here and keep moving on, and not letting all this relationship stuff get you down, or not worrying so much if your life is out of balance, which it may be for a little bit here, then I think you're just going to be fine, okay? And just needing to figure out what you need to do to readjust your life and to put it in a better place based on some things that have come to you, okay? So I think that's what I see going on here. In terms of other stuff that's happening, we do have the sun getting closer and closer to a conjunction with Jupiter. This only happens once a year, that the sun conjuncts Jupiter. Normally it's a very good day. I mean, there could be some other things going on that can make that hard, but I like to think when the sun conjuncts Jupiter, even hard things are good, even bad things have meaning in some way. So I think if there's anything going on in your life, we're trying to figure them out here with sun conjunct Jupiter to understand better what is going on, what we need to do to make sense of things. And I think even if things are hard, there's a little bit of a silver lining that we're starting to see and starting to realize that is here, even if it's going to take a lot of work for us to get there with the Saturn stuff coming in here. And even if doing the work is uncomfortable, I think we're maybe starting to realize, okay, there's something coming, there's something like good that's happening, but you know, needing to continue moving forward onto that, even if there's a lot of work we need to do in the meantime, okay? Anything we commit to doing, even if it is hard and uncomfortable, I think is going to really help us to express ourselves more freely, to do the things that it is that we want to do in some way, and to just feel, yeah, more free and more independent. Could bring some unexpected things up too. I didn't mention that. The moon on top of Uranus today, early in the day, could bring some unexpected things up as well, but could also be unexpected things that help you to break free from some stuff that are holding you back, okay? So I think those are some big opportunities coming in there. And then Mercury, of course, still hanging out in this trine to Neptune here, making her thoughts a little hazy, okay? Mercury does not like to be with Neptune. It does not. Mercury is very dedicated, very, you know, especially, it depends what kind of Mercury you're talking about, Virgo Mercury or Gemini Mercury, but Mercury likes to talk about the details, the nitty gritty, the nits and bolts, the pieces, the nuts and bolts of things here. And when Mercury is making an aspect to Neptune, okay, in the transits or in a natal chart, you know there's some kind of thing going on with your mind where you're not thinking clearly, okay? You're having to take the long route. I think Donald Trump has a Mercury-Neptune thing going on. He talks in circles, you know? That's what happens with these Mercury-Neptune people. And I think that's what could be going on in your mind here, is that you're trying to get things in order, you're trying to figure things out, and you are thinking in circles. It's hard for you to wrap your mind around some things, even though you're moving forward in some good ways. And so I think here is not to fight it. It's hard to fight a Neptune influence, I think, when it comes to a Mercury going on here. So if you're trying to make sense of things, and you're trying to put things in order, and you're trying to make things happen like I've been talking about, and like you should be trying to do, here, I think the message is to make sure, right, that you're being patient and that you're being graceful, and that the options that you are pursuing are very creative and give you lots of leeway and are more compassionate, okay, and just more in touch with who it is that you are, okay? Because if you're trying to be really structured here with your thoughts and with your mind, and I did mention all of this in all of your weeklies, it's going to be very, very hard for you to move forward. So as you're making sense of things, as you're trying to figure some things out, as you're trying to do something new and put it into place too, needing to be patient with it if it doesn't go quite according to plan, and let yourself explore your different options and try a bunch of different things too as you're moving forward, okay? So I think that's a lot of what is coming in, okay? And again, of course, with Mercury here, with Mars here in Libra too, needing to be patient with yourself, needing to listen to your heart and listen to your intuition as you make these plans, as you do these things, as you try to push forward and make things happen in your life and start to act, okay? I think just being patient here, letting yourself be creative so that you can continue on is gonna do you wonders here, and stop trying to force things to happen and just making sure you're listening intuitively. That's another thing, Mercury and Neptune, intuition. Make sure you have that going on here so that you don't get frustrated and that you don't get lost in 100 different directions, okay? So that's what I've got for you. Your card for the day is the Devil upright. So this is a card where you are attached to things. This is like the third time I've gotten this card in like the past 2 weeks. Attached to things, holding on to things too tight. You gotta let things go. You gotta loosen your grip. You gotta think about things in different ways. When you have Mercury making, or when you have Neptune making aspects to Mercury, and it's gonna make aspects to the Sun here and to Jupiter eventually, all right? You need to loosen your grip. Things dissolve under Neptune's influence. It's like you thought you had something, and then right before your eyes it like disappears, you know? And so I think you need to realize old ways of thinking and believing and old things in our life are dissolving, okay, right before us, and you need to be okay with those things leaving so that new things can come in, okay? And to let yourself experience new things and come into new chapters without getting so hurt or so upset in the meantime where everything is going, okay? So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.